terror in New Orleans. ISIS-inspired attacker kills 15. New Orleans' New Year celebration turned into chaos when 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar, a former U.S. Army veteran, launched an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack on Bourbon Street, killing 15 and injuring 35. At 3:15 a.m., Jabbar drove a rented Ford F-150 Lightning truck onto the sidewalk, bypassing a police barricade meant to protect the, festivity goers. He plowed into the crowd, leaving bodies maimed in his path as terrified pedestrians fled into bars and restaurants for safety. After coming to a stop, he exited the truck and opened fire with a handgun, shooting two police before being fatally shot in a gunfight with law enforcement. The attack forced the postponement of the Sugar Bowl, a major local sporting event, as investigators uncovered an ISIS flag attached to his vehicle, along with pipe bombs hidden inside coolers in a rented Airbnb wired for remote detonation. Quote, this was a despicable and heinous attack, said President Biden, visiting the site alongside First Lady Jill Biden, who laid a bouquet at a makeshift memorial. Authorities later confirmed Jabbar acted alone and had pledged allegiance to ISIS, posting disturbing videos before the massacre, describing his intent to kill, and visions that led him to jihad. So, oh my God, when I found out that this happened on New Year's Eve, uh, I was just like done, mentally done. Like I don't know. I don't even know how much commentary I have on this. One, because I can't say it for YouTube, and two, because what can be said that hasn't been said before, to be honest. Like, I think what drives me insane as a citizen is that I have reached a point in my life that I do not wonder if this is going to happen. I do not wonder if an Islamist terrorist attack is going to happen. I wonder when it's going to happen and where it's going to happen. Because we all know that it's going to happen again. We all know that this is going to happen again. And it's going to happen again. And it's going to happen again. And it's going to happen again. And the politicians are going to keep saying the same shit. And they're going to keep saying how horrible it is. And they're going to keep saying how despicable it is. And then we live our lives until the next one happens again. And you know what is there to say, really? I mean, I'm seeing conflicting reports about whether he acted alone or not. I don't know how much the authorities are releasing publicly at this point, because not only was there like an IED inside the car, um but there are IEDs in different public locations around Bourbon Street that had to have the bomb squad called in, which is terrifying. So the body count like could have been higher. Um I'm not entirely sure what this dude's deal was. Like, I've also seen conflicting reports. Like, some people were saying that he actually grew up Christian and then converted. And then other reports were saying that no, he actually was Muslim his whole life, but then only became like radicalized lately. Apparently people that knew him were like 100% blindsided by this. They didn't see it coming. They didn't see the radicalization coming. um but he's saying yes, he was alone. There's footage of him placing the coolers, but I mean, in terms of the preparation and gathering the materials to do such a thing, i'm I'm not 100% clear on that. um and So I like, maybe he was a convert, maybe he wasn't, I don't know. But what drove me like fucking crazy was that there was a statement made by like his half brother or his brother-in-law being like, "Oh no, this doesn't represent Islam and this doesn't represent the Muslims, the Muslim community, and ratata." Meanwhile, this dude literally released 5 videos on um Facebook right before he did this attack, and I haven't seen these videos, so I'm going after what was reported. But apparently in one of the videos, he talks about how his original idea was to attack and kill some of his friends and family, which is scary because this guy has like children. I don't know how many children, but it seems like he has multiple children. So was he gonna like just go and attack and kill them? But in this video, apparently, reportedly, he said that he decided against doing that kind of attack against his friends and family because he didn't want the media. He didn't do that kind of attack because he did not want the media to distract from the war between believers and disbelievers. He didn't want to kill his friends and family because he did not want the media to lose the plot, to lose the thread of the plot that is the
Wow.
war on the disbelievers. That's specifically why he didn't go kill his friends and family, because he wanted the media to know that this is a
Wow.
war on the disbelievers.
Wow. Wow.
Let me make that clear.
It's
And
crazy.
then people are going to tell me that this does not represent Islam. When if you know anything about Islam, it is all about the war on the disbelievers, to the point that the world is split in two between Dar al Islam and Dar al Harb, which literally means the house of war. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's a connection.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little inspiration. I don't know. Call me stupid. What
And
do you think, Armin?
no, and Susie, to your point, it's true that Islam wants peace, but their definition of peace is by removing completely the Darul Harb, right? So the understanding is that you get peace when all of the world submits to Islam. So when they say Islam is a religion of peace, based on their definition of peace, they are not doing taqiyya. They're like, yeah, we will bring peace through war by making the whole world submit to Islam. That's how we bring about peace.
Through
That's the
submission.
understanding through submission. Yes. So they're not doing
Yeah.
taqiyya when they say Islam is a religion of peace, but their understanding of peace is by completely defeating the because the reason why they call non-Islamic countries Darul Harb, meaning that the house of war, is because they consider being non-Islamic as a declaration of war by default. So you are already at a state of war with the Islamic world by not being Islamic land.
No, and this is the
Oh, I
point.
pissed off somebody.
Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Hell
great.
yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. I love it when I piss off someone. Thank you so much. I
No,
hit a
no, and this
nerve.
is the thing that drives me crazy is when people like, to be honest, I mean, we can talk about like history, we can talk about colonialism, we can talk about disenfranchisement and geopolitics and because in the Western liberal mindset, we want people to be rational actors, and we find it more digestible that people would want to kill us in mass and attack our societies to our core for some reasons that we find rational and logical and digestible. We fail to understand that the existence of our liberties themselves is a declaration of war to the Islamist. It frankly doesn't fucking matter about any colonialism, any war that happened in the 20th century, any intervention in the Middle East. Sure, those things maybe don't help, but at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. Our freedom itself is provocation. Again, I want to say that one more time. Our freedoms themselves, without any interference or ever touching together, is itself the provocation. So, like, everyone else can go fuck off. I really don't care. Um, about your excuses, your justification, your rationalities. This is it's like literally like liberal lefty cope. It's liberal lefty cope because it makes things like more understandable for them. And this literally started happening, like people would roll out these excuses in this cope literally as soon as 9/11 happened. Go back and look at the media back then. Go look at the think pieces. Go look at the editorials and newspapers. We were already running cover and carrying water for terrorists through these excuses because that made it make sense in our civilizational brain. Like, oh, they must have a grievance against us. We must have done something bad that justified our own mass slaughter. There are probably plenty of things that didn't help. But at the end of the day, we fail to understand that the fundaments of the ideology that we are up against are bad and wrong and backwards and against our entire way of life and the systems of freedoms that we have tried to universalize to the entire world. It is the problem with the fundaments. The geopolitics and the history and the intervention is just window dressing. It's window dressing, frankly. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
You
Liberty
know,
itself is the provocation.
you do such a good job at explaining this. You do, like, I always think that nobody I've never seen anybody explain how ridiculous these excuses are better than you. That's why I'm always
Well,
waiting
thank
to
you.
see how seriously. Almost whenever something like this happens, I'm like speechless and I don't know how to. And also, when I see people coming up with bizarre takes, sometimes I'm like, fuck, let's just see what Susie has to say about this because I know she will capture this thing beautifully. Yeah, people are saying
Yeah.
wild stuff.
So I'm just tired of it when I see people like running with those excuses and stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, how cute." Like you are just coming up with a reason so you can cope with things in your own like western brain. How naive. It's adorable, honestly. Um oops. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so again, there's in terms of the comments that D found, I'm finding conflicting information about what this guy's religious background is. D had a comment in the live chat earlier that I can't find, basically saying that they were raised Christian but then converted to Islam early. Um, it's really not clear. Um, I was reading about how this guy's life was like kind of falling apart. Like he's had lots of kind of custody battles and divorce issues in and out of court and was in really bad debt, falling behind on debt, falling behind on child support, like his business wasn't doing well. And I'm kind of curious about the extent to which his personal life falling apart kind of made him have like a
Yeah,
like everything's lost anyway kind of mentality. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it had an effect, but I think people are too black and white. Okay,
Oh,
people
sure.
think that their analysis is like, oh, was this because his life went bad, or was this because of Islam? Why do you think people are like robots? Obviously the answer is both. Because some people on our camp, they try to make it act like it's just Islam and nothing else. Islam doesn't work in a vacuum. Okay, the human mind uh, is not going to be just accepting. Even Muslim minds, even most Muslims' minds are not completely taken over by Islam. That's why we have so many good Muslim people. because Islam is a virus, but it cannot completely destroy your humanity. Okay, your humanity is ancient. The things that makes your brain act, sane and kindly towards other people, it's much more ancient than Islam is. So Islam is not going to be completely be able to eat all of that, even in the minds of most Muslims, right? So it takes
Well,
Islam, it requires Islam, but Islam is not enough. For you to be an ISIS, you need Islam. Okay, so people who want to remove Islam as a factor, they're idiots. Obviously, it's because of Islam, but you need other ingredients as well. You need poverty, you need isolation, maybe you need hardship, you need failure, you need other element. It's
you
not
need
you
you
don't
need
it,
psychological vulnerability, and cat
yeah,
lady in the live chat was saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter what his life was like." It actually does, especially if you look at how the process of brainwashing and indoctrination and radicalization literally happens. Your
right.
psychological vulnerability is a very, very important factor, and we
The
need to
reason why
know that so that we can prevent it.
Yeah. So, cat lady, the reason why that's important is because this is not a defense of Islam. Okay, it is because of Islam that this person is doing something like this, right? But most Muslims do not fully submit to Islam because they have lives, because they have other things that they care about. The reason why we have to understand this is because a mind that fully submits to Islam is a mind that has probably lost everything else. So it's not, them being a Muslim is a required element, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It needs other, and we need to understand those other factors as well. So just be careful not to be, just in the same way that the people who want to deny the role of Islam, we should be careful to not overcorrect to the completely other side, to act like it's Islam and absolutely nothing else. Islam needs the help of other factors to be able to have this effect, right? So this person is also thinking in black and white. He thinking that it, because it was money issues. So this person had money issues, he had other things. That means it wasn't Islam. No, it's both. It's both working together, right? And also the idea that the ISIS flag was planted there, these conspiracy theories, is so insane. They treat the FBI or intelligence operations or the police in the United States as if this is Russia, as if this is the Islamic Republic, as if this is China. Like, I don't know, where is this person American? Because if you're American, you're so ungrateful. You have a country that actually has a proper police. No, he's not American. Okay, thank you, please. But no, this is actually a country that works properly. They don't plant flags to make it in a crime scene to make it seem, well, they don't most of the time, right?
A
And
literal false flag? You're telling me it's a
yeah,
literal false flag?
right. Let's, yes, yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, Les. Yeah, you have to appreciate your country. You're better. You're a more advanced country, and most of the time, not always, you act better than most other countries, right? And also, the reason why some people think that the ISIS flag was planted there is because there are two pictures. One where the ISIS flag is there, and another picture of the car where the ISIS flag is not there. And people are like, why is it there and not there? They must have added it later. But now more pictures came out, is because some police officers, they took the flag, they put it on the ground, they stretched it, and they were taking pictures of it. The reason why there's two pictures, one with it and one without it, is because they at some point removed it to take better pictures of it. That's the actual reason. It's not your stupid conspiracy theories. Is anything else here?
This person has a criticism of the New Orleans police, saying New Orleans was deleted was alerted 5 years ago about the vulnerability of Bourbon Street to a vehicular ramming, and Louisiana had over 3 years to prepare with emergency management and city planners to get ready for the Super Bowl. And basically, they were saying like criticizing the city, like they should have been prepared. New Year's Eve should have been a dry run event to make sure the city was prepared. Pure negligence by elected officials. Um,
Yeah, that might be fair.
Look,
I
especially
mean,
with what's happening in Los Angeles, I think there's a lot of criticism to go around for city government preparedness.
so okay, to be honest, I don't want to excuse the lack of preparedness. This is really difficult to for the police of a city. This is imagine being a terrorist and the wide areas of crowded people that you have to choose from. And then imagine being police and trying to figure out every single corner where a car could run into people and trying to block every single one of it. It's I mean, I'm not gonna say the police shouldn't have done better. The criticism should be there, but it's a very difficult task. It's a very difficult task that the police should be able to meet. Again, it's New York, okay? But again, I'm not. Again, it sounds like I'm making excuses for it. I just want to make sure that as we criticize, we should criticize the police. We should find the faults. We should try. We should figure out how the police could do better. At the same time, we also should understand that you are, when it comes to security, criticize, but also appreciate how much your country is better than many other governments when it comes to providing security for their people, right? The fact that this is headline news shows that your country cares more about lives more than other countries. These numbers do not even do not even reach headline news as these numbers of people dying by terrorist attacks. In other countries, these numbers are astronomically higher.
Dude, yeah,
Astronomically
just look
higher.
at Pakistan, look at Afghanistan.
Right. So criticize and appreciate at the same time. One does not negate the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Do you want to do the super chats?
yes, Asian American gave a super chat saying, I heard of the Las Vegas attack by Matthew Livisberger both came from the same army base. I think they were both at Fort Bragg. I'm not sure. What is it called now? Fort Liberty, North Carolina. When do you think the West will start using CPC tactics? Okay, to be honest, I mean, I just got back from traveling, so I'm very out of the loop. I basically know nothing about the Las Vegas attack, to be completely honest. So
So, do they,
I have no
so
commentary
based
on
on what
that,
I
but
understand, so let me just tell you, Susie. Let me know what you think. Because based on what I've heard, again, let me know if I'm incorrect, guys, in the chat. That's the only thing that links them. They haven't found any other link between them. The only thing that they found that links them is that they both came from the same base, and it's suspicious, but it's not enough to link them.
yeah, and also
Yeah,
like the amount of people that go through Fort Bragg is insane. It's such a major
yeah.
base. Um, I don't know, but when you say when do you think the West will start using CPC tactics? I mean, can you be more specific about which tactics? There's a lot of different
Yeah.
tactics, but the answer is no. I don't think that. Um, Dan Davis saying Islam is a religion of peace. Peace is of you everywhere. Yep, that's how a lot of people feel. Um, Les is saying, oh, I think you highlighted this. Did you want to comment on this? Saying honestly, when I was younger,
No,
I
I just
definitely fell victim to
go
the
ahead.
racism of low expectations. Not anymore.
I just wanted to appreciate Les and her growth. So,
Yes. Dan gave another super chat saying Islamic supremacy is way more evil than white supremacy because it is theological, whereas white supremacy was a result of European conquest.
I mean, I don't know if it's I don't know how to measure evilness. I could measure harmfulness. I don't know evilness because evil is just it's not measurable, okay? But I could say it depends on what you mean by evil. But I do think that Islamic uh, supremacy has more victims over the long period. White supremacy had more victims per year for the short period that it was. I mean, technically, Nazis were not even white supremacists; they were Aryan supremacists because they
Yeah,
killed
it
more
depends on
white
how you
people than
define it.
depends on how you define it. Yeah. So Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that Islamic supremacy has had a much higher number of victims given the period. Given that, given okay, so here's how Islamic supremacy is more dangerous. Islamic supremacy has enough sugarcoating around the pose and peel to be able to pass as something good. It has a more powerful marketing power. It sells more, and because it sells more, it lasts more. White supremacy is so obviously evil that it just doesn't last as long because it doesn't have the sugar coating. It doesn't have the positive messaging for it to be able to sell its evil as something good, so less people will be convinced by it. Islam is a type of evil that has more. The marketing department of Islamic supremacy is just superior to white supremacy. So
Well,
that's
I
why.
mean, the most powerful thing about it is it's universalizing.
Yes,
It's a more
that's
effective
another thing.
meme. White supremacy is inherently not universalizing. Out
Exactly.
of the definition.
True.
So it's going to be less powerful because it's tied to an ethnicity. Um, Dajjal Chan. Dajjal Chan just became a new member on YouTube. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
The user
Um,
profile pic matches the username. That was
I
cute.
know it's so cute. Dan gave another super chat saying, "Why do minorities in the Muslim world, like Hindus, Christians in Pakistan, Copts in Egypt, Baha'is in Iran, not resort to terrorism since they are brutally executed, but somehow Islamic terrorism is justified?" Um, because their religions don't promote that kind of activity, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
In
if you
in
have Islam,
Christianity, if you do a suicide attack, you go to hell because you
no,
killed yourself. Like,
so on average, okay, not always, but if you get Islam without desperation, you don't get as many terrorist attacks. If you get desperation without Islam, you don't get as many terrorist attacks. If you combine desperation and Islam, then you get that's the perfect environment for radicalization, right? But it's interesting because it's not desperation. Like we are poorer country than Islamic countries. That so, for example, you could see many places where people are poor and desperate, but they are not Muslim. So you don't. So you could see that the Islam factor is a huge factor. It's not just because of economic desperation. Because if it's because of economic desperation, why don't we see that in poorer country where they're not Muslim? So the Islamic factor is a huge factor. But you also don't see that high level of radicalization when people are Muslim, but you don't have desperation, lack of hope, poverty, stuff like that. These are the combination of them produce. It's not the only way of producing radicalization, but it is one of the most powerful combinations. Islam plus desperation. Yeah. Wait, Jason is saying Islam demands Arabization. No, Islam sees Arabization as a threat to itself. I don't know what you guys saying. These are two different things. So Susie went for a washroom break. Let me just. I'm gonna highlight this. I don't know if I should read. This is a swear word in Persian. Nigel is saying Basiji Kostananat. Why are we getting? Thank you for the super chat, Nigel. I had to check. Are we on the Persian channel? We're getting. So this is an insult to Basijis, which is Iranian religious radicals harassing people in the streets. Basically, Basiji is religious morality police in Iran. Yeah, so he's basically swearing at those people. And let me see. Oh, Nina, thank you so much, Nina, for gifting 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, if you are a new member, I did a members only live stream. So which I really enjoy doing. So go check it out. I'm gonna do more members on. I just did a recent one regarding some updates in Iran. So go check that out. Oh, Susie's back. Yay. I didn't know what to do without Susie here. So that's good. So go.
I'm
You go
sorry,
ahead with the rest of
I had to go make extra I had to go make more coffee.
coffee. Okay. All right.
Um,
We do the rest of the super chats. Yeah.
Les give a super chat saying Dan is the sugar daddy for the channel. Giggles. Armin and Susanna, my dad is so scared for you. He is afraid you're speaking out is putting you in danger. He wants me to tell you to keep yourself safe. Okay, first of all, that's adorable that your dad,
Aw.
Les's dad. Hi.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Les's dad. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you for your concern. That is very sweet. That is very
Oh.
appreciated. We're fine. We're perfectly fine. We have been through a lot worse and we're fine.
I was gonna say something, but it's gonna make Susie upset, so I'm not gonna say it.
Now you made me curious, but I think you're right. I might
If something happens to me, cut some my bed something like make a video of the most funniest things I've said and put this
Oh
on the
my
channel
god.
to celebrate my memory, something like that. Some like a 5-minute video of me and Susie laughing with each other, having our best moments together, and
Not
put
a
them next to each other.
oh man.
Don't put a sad music, put a fun music behind it and play that.
That's depressing.
Oh.
But anyways, Les's dad, thank you very much. We're
Thank
fine.
you so
We're
much.
okay.
Yeah.
Dan gave a super chat saying, we have seen Khalistani Sikhs in India, even Tamil Hindus or Christians in Sri Lanka resort to terrorism similar to jihadists, but they died out. This is true. We're not saying that it never happens, but if we're being completely honest, it does not happen at the rate, frequency, or overrepresentation of those that follow Islam. I mean, let's be fucking honest here. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah,
but is it as probable? No, it's not even close to being as probable.
No. Not even close. A
freaking
lot
break.
of American leftists would say, actually, if you look at the stats, most terrorist activities in United States, most terrorist they don't say in United States. They say most terrorism is done by far right white supremacists in okay, and they don't clarify like okay, in United States, in America, okay, they're like it's funny because they're leftists and they accuse other people of being American centric. But when they give you that stat, they're being American centric as if the rest of the world doesn't exist. The most terrorist attacks globally is Islamic by a huge margin. Only
the data is all publicly available.
Yes, only if you zoom in on a specific country somewhere, you might get like, okay, here in this geographical region, the terrorist attack is mostly by someone else, which is, oh, wow, really? In a country that is majority white, most terrorist attacks happens by somebody that is the part of the majority? Like, okay. I mean, even in the United States, if you adjust based on population, based on the percentage of the population, then you can see that the Muslim community is still overly represented based on the percentage. But it's like going to a country that is 90. Hey, most of the terrorist attacks in Japan is not Islamic, Susie. Did you know that? A country that is 99% Japanese. Wow, they don't have like, give me that stat to show me that most terrorist attacks are not Islamic. Yeah, globally it's Islamic by a huge margin. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.